I didn't return for forgiveness, I came to burn their lies to ash. At 12, my mother, Clara Hensley, leaned over the cracked vinyl of our old sedan's front seat and said, "Just a summer, sweetheart. 2 months, maybe 3. My father, Paul, stared at the winding dirt road cutting through Kentucky's rolling hills, his knuckles white on the wheel, silent as stone. They left me at a sagging farmhouse, its white paint peeling like old skin, the porch creaking under a rusted swing. My duffel bag bit into my shoulder as I stood there, watching their taillights vanish into the dusk. No one met my eyes when the door creaked open. My grandfather, Amos Hensley, filled the doorway, broad-shouldered in a faded denim shirt, one hand braced against the frame like he was holding up the world. "Come on in, then," he said, voice rough but steady. Clara pressed a kiss to my forehead, barely touching me. Paul gave a curt nod. I waited for a glance back as they drove off. Nothing. Just gravel dust settling in their wake. Inside, the house groaned like it was alive. The living room was a maze of uneven shelves, books propping up wobbly tables, and a mantel clock that wheezed instead of ticked. Amos didn't hug me. He pointed to a narrow staircase. "Your room's up there. Got a lamp." The room was sparse, a cot, a frayed quilt, a window framing endless fields. On the nightstand, a flashlight and a folded cloth waited, like someone knew I'd need them. That night, I clutched the flashlight, shoes still laced, staring at the window, willing headlights to appear. The moon crossed the sky, silent. No one came. Mornings began with Amos at the stove, frying eggs with mechanical precision, the kitchen thick with the scent of scorched coffee. He didn't ask how I slept. Just slid a plate my way and said, "Eat." I didn't ask when they'd return. The question felt like a blade, too sharp to touch. Amos moved through the days like a machine, feeding chickens, mending fences, always with that same deliberate calm. Breakfast was always toast, one slice near black, one golden. I took the burnt one every time. He never sat with me, just stood by the sink, sipping from a chipped mug stamped Hensley Timber, 1978. Afternoons, I roamed the fields, the barn, the shed, a clutter of rusted tools and half-dead engines. Amos worked there, sleeves rolled, hands stained with grease, a radio crackling with grain prices. One day, I lingered too long. He glanced up, then at the wrench in his hand. "Wanna give it a go?" I stepped forward, fumbling the tool twice before loosening a bolt. He didn't scold, just nodded once, a flicker of approval in his eyes. After that, the shed stayed open. In November, I found the truth in a stuck drawer in his workbench. Beneath screws and old receipts, a folder with my name, *Lila Hensley*, in Amos's sharp scrawl. Inside, a 2004 court document, termination of parental rights, Clara and Paul Hensley. My breath caught. I was 14 when they signed me away, no visitation, no return. I slid it back, hand steady but hollow. Amos never mentioned it. That night, he served stew, overcooked as always. I stirred it, silent. He didn't ask why. Amos gave me a tin box that winter, holding a worn pocketknife and a compass etched with AH. "Keep 'em," he said. I did. By 16, I was sketching designs for a collapsible walker, inspired by a magazine article and Amos's stiff limp from an old injury. I taught myself welding, stayed up late watching tutorials on a wheezing laptop. Amos sold his old Chevy to buy steel rods I needed. He said it was junk anyway. I didn't believe him. My prototype won second at a state science fair, functional, not flashy. A letter followed, offering a STEM scholarship if I kept my grades up. Amos handed me a jar of bolts and said, "For your next one." At graduation, he sat in the back, clapping longer than anyone when I crossed the stage. Afterward, he gave me a sandwich wrapped in foil and drove us home, windows down, stars bright. On my 26th birthday, Amos made biscuits, edges charred, a scratched record playing Billie Holiday. He set a small package by my plate, brown paper, no bow. Inside was a steel locket, engraved "Keep Going." It didn't tick, but it felt alive in my hand. "Yours now," he said. That evening, we sat on the porch, him smoking his pipe, me talking about a new prosthetics project at work. He nodded, then said, "They're finally seeing you." It was his last gift. The next morning, the house was still. No coffee, no radio. I found Amos in his bed, one hand on his chest, the other open, reaching for nothing. I don't recall the ambulance or the neighbor's hushed words. Just the locket, heavy in my fist, as I sat on the porch, the wind carrying his absence. At the funeral, Clara and Paul appeared, stepping into the church like they'd never left. Clara hugged me, all perfume and pity. "We've missed you, Lila." Paul offered a handshake, then a stiff embrace. I didn't move. "We're here for you," Clara said, eyes on the casket. "The farm, the estate, it's too much for you alone." I stepped back. "You left me," I said. "You don't get to claim him now." In the lawyer's office, Clara and Paul sat poised, expectant. The lawyer, Ellen Voss, was all business, gray hair pinned tight. She opened a file. Amos Hensley's estate, farm, land, 2 patents, Hensley Innovations stock, worth $87 million, transferred to Lila Hensley, legal ward. Clara gasped. "That's a mistake." Ellen produced the 2004 document, their signatures clear. Then she scanned the locket, a hidden chip verifying my claim. "Biometrically locked to Lila," Ellen said. "Ironclad." Paul's jaw tightened. "We'll fight this." I walked out, locket in hand, their voices fading. They came back, filing a challenge, citing Amos's declining health. Then Clara arrived alone, coat plain, eyes raw. "I'm sorry," she said. "We were scared, selfish. Your father's dying, Layla." "Cancer." I nodded, silent. She left, the SUV fading into the dusk. Under Amos's study floor, I found a tin box, his journals, a letter. Asterisk Lila, this land's for building, not just holding. Start something, asterisk his plans spilled out, a workshop for kids like me, abandoned, underestimated. Hensley Haven. I turned the barn into a lab, hired a mechanic, watched kids like Mia, a foster teen, build a prosthetic hand and grin. Now, I sit in the loft above the barn, locket on my desk, moonlight spilling through the shutters. The past offers no apologies, but Amos gave me a beginning. Mia will lead the program soon. I'll carry the locket until it's her turn. The lab lights glow below, and I know they didn't inherit me. I inherited them.